Welcome. You're listening to the Let's Get Engaged podcast. My name is Morgan, and I'm here to create content that educates, empowers, and inspires lifelong community engagement. I'll be bringing you in-depth interviews with nonprofits and community leaders so that you can make an impact in your community and around the globe. Now let's get engaged. Welcome, everyone. This is Morgan from Let's Get Engaged. I'm here today with featured guest, Mr. SEYI RANSOM, founder of the Nigerian environmental nonprofit Future Savers Initiative. As some of you may know, Earth Day is right around the corner. And that's right, it's going to be virtual this year. No surprise there. But just because there is a global health crisis does not mean we are going to forget about climate justice. And now that the world has witnessed the environmental pollution factors decreasing with the demobilization of humanity, we need to act quickly to help maintain these lowered global emissions. So without any further ado, welcome Mr. RANSOM.
Oh, thank you so much.
Now, first things first, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about your organization and what you do?
The name of the organization, the full name of the organization is Future Savers Sustainable Development Initiative. It's a climate change and environmental oriented organization based in Nigeria. What we do is we are saddled with a lot of responsibility trying to bridge the lacuna in the environmental education awareness in Nigeria, because we see a lot of lacuna, a lot of space when it comes to climate change orientation in Nigeria. So what we basically do is trying to orientate and also to sensitize people on a larger scale publicly, and using the power of the social media, and also bringing decision makers, politicians into play, because we believe that to deliver climate justice, you need the politicians, the decision makers. So our organization, Future Savers, what we basically do is the educational aspect and the enforcement aspect, that is enforcing those laws, to enforcing Nigeria to comply with those laws, with those environmental rules, because we realize that there are a lot of laws in our constitution that guides the environment, that protects the rights of humans and animals in the environment. But most of these laws are just there and they are not being executed. So what we do in our organization is pushing the government, the decision makers, to the limit, to the extent where they are going to respond, to our cause, exposing these environmental laws to young people so that they can act. Because when you don't know your right, you don't know how to ask or to demand whatever it's yours. So that is what we do basically. We are majorly climate change, environmental based organization in Nigeria, with the mentality of educating and also raising consciousness, environmental consciousness in people and young people, basically. Yeah.
And I think that's so beautiful, honestly, and especially how you're mentioning in the end with young people. A lot of your work has to do with educating these young people and providing them a tool to become a voice, to be a champion for climate change. And I think that's really amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So as a farmer, so your life is obviously intrinsically connected with the land. And you can obviously assume that you have been a champion for planet Earth for probably some time now. But we were just wondering, did you have a certain moment, an experience, or something that happened that finally made you push to say, I need to start this NGO and I need to do more than just take part with the land myself?
Quite unfortunate, we don't have 24 hours power supply in the country. We have what I call the epileptic power supply in Nigeria. We don't enjoy power. So the first time I left the country, I realized that, so there are countries that exist on the planet where you could actually enjoy 24 hours uninterrupted supply of power. So when I that experience, the first experience I had, brought something like a fire in my mind, and I felt like, wow, I need to fight for people. I need to make people realize that you don't know you're right, or probably something is wrong. I mean, you need to understand, to expose that a lot of things happening over there and all that. I believe that there are a lot of Nigerians who have seen that type of life, but they kept quiet because maybe they don't care about people. But then I have the passion to helping people, really. And then when I came back, I started pushing for renewable energy, right? I started pushing for clean energy because I feel that's the alternative to fossil fuel and so many environmental problems that we have in Nigeria. And I believe that marginalized communities, they can benefit from the free power of the sun. And I started pushing for renewable energy, clean energy solutions in Nigeria. So that's the first major occurrence for me. And the second thing was when you talk about global warming, you talk about fire outbreak, you might not understand until it happens to you, right? Until you feel the impact. And this is just generally this applies to climate change generally. If you have not felt the impact of climate change, you don't know how to talk about it. Are you right there?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So few months ago, let's say last year, I had a very bad experience in my farm. My 2 hectares of farm that I cultivated plantain and palm trees got burnt as a result of wildfire, and that made me to realize that wow, it is real, and it happens the same time with Australia fire. You know, many Nigerians might not experience wildfire, but I did, and that actually brought more fire, literally, into my mind. I say, wow, this thing, I'm going to get it and I'm going to do it. And that's one of the things that fuels my passion towards fighting for climate justice in Nigeria and the
Yeah,
NGO entirely. Yeah.
absolutely. And, I had a moment a little bit like that when I was working with a refugee family from Nepal. And I had met a gentleman who told me that he was the age 42 before he ever entered a building and saw a switch where lights could be turned on. And it gave me such a different perspective of my own personal privilege. Just the fact that I had access to power 24/7 for my entire, childhood into my young adult life. I had never realized just how phenomenal that was and what a tool that was and a power for change, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Now, do you want to tell everyone a little bit on how you came up with the name Future Savers?
Oh, wow. Future savers. When when the thought of starting the NGO came to my mind in 2019, what I thought of what fueled my emotions and my passion towards creating the NGO was the suffering that I saw in the marginalized communities, in the women community in Nigeria, and most especially the children that have to suffer for the crime, for the effect of climate change that they did not know anything about. What brought out that burning desire also was the fact that most of those children would probably have to face the tremor and the suffering that comes with climate change in their latter life when they ought to be enjoying, or in their teenage life or young adult life, without knowing how to probably adapt or how to secure themselves or to protect themselves from the effect and the bond of climate change. So that picture was that thing that triggers my mind initially, and I thought of, let me base this organization fighting for young people, fighting for children, innocent children that know nothing about climate change. How can I save them? How can I save their future? Because I believe that the future, the presence right now, the future we are preparing for them will really matter how they are going to deal with climate change. And I feel fighting for them is worth doing. And that was why I thought of that name, Future Savers, that I can be a tool to save the future of these young people. I can be an agent of change. I can influence other people, other young adult people, to create knowledge, to create adaptive measures to saving the life of these young people, of these teenagers. So that was why the name Future Savers popped up. Yeah.
Well, I think it's an absolutely provocative name, and I think that the work you guys are already doing and the education initiatives you guys are already doing, it's absolutely incredible. And I really can't wait to see what else you come up with next. I mean, it's so true. The children are the future. I mean, it's all we have, and we have to invest in them and educate them just as much as possible. And as you were saying, of course, these are people who are not the main emitters of the pollution that is detrimenting their livelihoods. So, even more important that they learn how to advocate for themselves is so important. Okay, so I'm going to switch gears a little bit and hit you with a bit of a new question. And that is that we're dealing with COVID-19 right now. Everybody's in quarantine, everything's being handled different. All of our Earth Day plans are being handled virtually, things of that nature. So, how has this global virus been affecting you in Nigeria and your nonprofit initiatives?
It's like a twist of of a plot for us. Nobody expected initially when when we say Happy New Year 2020, everybody with so much of optimism and hope that 2020 is going to be a fantastic year with so much of dreams set, with so much of plans set. But then it all happened that we have to be quarantined in our homes. We have to stay at home. Those things that you wish to do, you cannot do them anymore. Those dreams that you wish to achieve and attain in 2020, you cannot achieve them anymore. So it's more like a total lockdown in Nigeria, except for some places where the cases are just a bit limited. But then it taught me one very valid lesson that nothing really matters in life except the relationship that you have with people. Nothing really matters in life except your safety and the fact that you want to live and the love that you can share to people. And self-discovery is one thing I've learned, and I believe so many Nigerians have learned at the same time. And what I feel is that staying alive is not just about you; it's about the impact that you can make in your community, about the legacy that you can actually leave behind you. And that's what I've learned. So, but then it's a total lockdown in Nigeria at the moment, and people are restricted to just the internet. They are restricted to just be home, just like what we are doing right now. Uh, but then I find it very interesting because it does not paralyze me in quote to not be able to do a lot of things. Because even as we are staying home, we have encouraged our members and team leaders in different states of Nigeria to start nurseries of fruit trees in their homes. We have mandated at least one member of Future Savers to start making use of waste plastics, to make a nursery for fruit trees, so that we are hoping that by the time the lockdown is over, our project, which is very significant to this organization, the Teens and Climate Project, we'll be able to sensitize young people, go to schools, primary schools, and by then the seedlings would have grown, and we can start transplanting. So most of the activities we've been doing indoor. Many of us have been teaching young people in our neighborhood, in our family, about climate change, about the importance of tree planting, and so many other things like that. So, but then the only thing is we cannot move around like many other countries. But I think it's a moment of self-discovery, and is a moment to appreciate loved ones and family and people that really, really matters. And it's a moment to reflect and also to pray for people who are passing through this difficult moment. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this segues perfectly into our next question, which is really,
All right.
Earth Day, when you and I started brainstorming and we started talking to the
Yeah.
SEYI company people, we were picturing boots on the
Yeah.
ground. We were picturing trees being planted. We were picturing smiling faces, And so
Yeah.
obviously we've changed that drastically. But what it's done is turned into this
Yeah.
really beautiful global webinar. So in some ways, this COVID crisis has encouraged more people, more global members to be a part of this experience with you than would have been available
Yeah.
had we been going part of the course. So,
Brilliant. Brilliant.
and it's technology has been such a big part of even how you and I met. We met off of Instagram,
Yeah.
so how do you feel technology has been a major aid for your nonprofit? Even
Wow.
like pre or, during COVID, even prior to COVID, I feel like it was a really important tool.
Yeah. Well, we wouldn't have met, Morgan. We wouldn't have met if not for the internet, right?
Yeah.
And the internet is a virtual world. I call it a global village. And also, sometimes when you say global village, then it sounds a bit bogus. But then I see it as a nice cocktail party where you can move around and meet people that you think have one or two things in common. That's how I picture internet. That's how it is, and that's how I met Morgan. We've met a lot of people on the internet that maybe you don't find interesting. It's just like a party when you're in a cocktail party with your wine uh, in your hands, and you can say hello to someone, and that hello can go a long mile, to change a lot of things. So that's the way I say it. It has changed a whole lot of things. And when it all started, we kind of a bit discouraged, but we never knew that there are a lot of things to actually enjoy, uh, because of the internet. Actually, like what Morgan was talking about, we were planning to, we are thinking of a very massive head rise. We have pictured a fantastic head rise with people with their placards and protesting on the streets of Nigeria. And we have pictured tree planting, so many schools, so many universities, so many public places, planting urban trees and the likes. But then it was very, very sharp. Everything just changed, and we needed to re-strategize, and that is why we are higher animals in quotes. We are and that's why we are above other animals, right? Because we have the thinking faculty. And then immediately we started thinking about the webinar, and it has really, we never thought of the webinar, Morgan. We never thought of the webinar initially. Maybe it would have restricted us to planning things locally, maybe in some cities. But then this has given us a platform. The internet has created a platform for us to connect environmentalists and climate change advocates all over the world, especially in Africa. Right now, we have over 300 entries for the webinar. We thought the Zoom application would not be able to contain everybody. That we think, oh, we can stream live on Facebook, right? We can stream on YouTube. We can access those features. That's still the power of social media. That is the power of the internet, right? And I can imagine maybe thousands of people will be connected from different parts of Africa, from Zimbabwe, from Kenya, from Tanzania, from Ghana, Togo, so many places, from Sudan. We have people who have registered from even the presidency office in Sudan, and so many other dignitaries across the world, people that I never imagined to meet. And just this small boy here will be hosting them. And I never imagined that. So for me, it's a dream come true. Or should I say it's not a dream? It's a dream given on a platter of gold. Shall I say so? It's an opportunity given on a platter of gold, and I'm happy to grab it. And I'm looking forward to that day. So yeah, the whole thing changed everything, but then it makes it even more beautiful. Morgan, it makes it more beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think all of that is a testimony to your own personal grit and determination, because just having these tools in general doesn't mean you're going to be constantly seeking and constantly making connections and things of that nature. So I think it's what you've been doing as yourself
Yeah.
personally and such a young NGO is a good reminder to other
Yeah.
nonprofits out there about how integral these tools can be and what can sort of
Can be. Yeah.
explode into something bigger than you ever imagined very quickly just by using this type of connectivity. Absolutely. And so that being said, we've
Yes.
mentioned lightly the webinar a little bit. So the webinar will be on the 21st. It's going to stream, 9 a.m.
First.
Eastern Central Time. And we're going to be connecting all of these incredible voices. And so is there anything about the webinar exclusively or about the NGO that's coming up that you want to share with the world?
first thing, I want to appreciate the fantastic speakers that have agreed to come on board. Dr. Richard Munang, it's a representative in UNEP, United Nations, and he has agreed to be on board to be one of our speakers. Alice, the fantastic founder of SEYI Design in the US. We have Morgan Tricke from the US, the founder of Let's Get Engaged community. I love what you guys do, fantastic. And we have Dion from from Senegal. We have SEYI Adebote, is a Nigerian environmentalist, a guy who has been to the United Nations. He was also at the COP25 in Madrid last year. These guys have, you know, I can't imagine myself or my organization being able to pull these things out. So really, I want to give the kudos to my team for making it possible. It's not just about me. It's all about, a collective effort, right? And I really appreciate my team, and I appreciate those people, those powerful leaders. So it's an opportunity for climate activists all over the world to connect with this type of people, because you don't get to have those people in the same room at the same time. So so one of the things that people are meant to look forward to regarding the webinar, it's innovative volunteerism, where Dr. Richard Mulang from Kenya will be taking people through the process, how people can actually be innovative in their ideas in solving climate change, how people can create solutions in Africa, how people can create local solutions, to local problems, and how people can volunteer and also bring food to their tables, how food production can be harnessed, and the opportunity regarding food production can be harnessed in Africa. And also we're going to be talking about drought and sea level rising, and how COVID-19 has actually been affecting the global emission crisis. So we are going to make climate change. And also we are also going to be talking we're going to be talking about renewable energy, how renewable energy can solve the issue of power poverty, which is one of the passion of this organization. We love to create solutions, to problems that has to do with power, because definitely everything is linked together. Recently, maybe you might not. I don't know if I share the news with Morgan, Nigeria, who was caught reading close to the ATM machine. She had the ray of light that comes from the ATM to read and to probably solve her assignment. And it was so unfortunate for you to understand that a lot of people are in the marginalized communities in Nigeria. And so we are also going to be talking and exposing young people in Africa on how to use renewable energy solutions into combating the effect of climate change in Africa. So the webinar is going to be on the 21st, as the Earth Day is going to be 22nd. So we're going to be having it a day before the Earth Day on the 21st of April. It's going to be a massive one, and a lot of people have registered. Like I said, we're going to be streaming live on Facebook, and we're going to be streaming on YouTube as well for people who will not have the opportunity to join the webinar. So a lot more to look forward to.
Yeah, and I'm so excited for the webinar. And I think, honestly, it's a great experience for any environmental advocate to take part in. If you can get onto Facebook Live and watch everything, I think even if you're not integrally interested in African solutions, that a lot of these solutions can be global and can be done at home. And so I hope everybody considers tuning in to hear that. I think it's going to be phenomenal. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what are your social media handles?
It's www.futuresavers.com, and we are on Instagram and on Twitter. Future Savers, FutureSaverNG on Twitter, and on Facebook We have a Facebook group, Future Saver Initiative. We have close to 900 people in the community on our Facebook, where we're going to be streaming live for the webinar. It's going to be on our Facebook page, and you can find us on Facebook page at Future Saver Sustainable Development Initiative. So we are almost everywhere. And also we have a YouTube channel as well, Future Savers Initiative on YouTube.
Perfect. So I would like to encourage all of you listeners out there to head on to Instagram, head on to Facebook, head on to Twitter, and check out the Future Savers Initiative and all of the incredible things they are doing for Nigeria, for the planet. It's amazing. So thank you so much for listening. You can catch us online as Let's Get Engaged podcast. For anybody listening out there who would like to be featured on the podcast, feel free to DM me on Instagram or shoot me an email at letsgetengagedpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening, and stay safe, everyone.